My name is Madam Eva. I am a teacher of English and Literature, and my main aim is to help you understand and to appreciate English and literature as a subject. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Wachera Gikonyo and follow me in all my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Give me your feedback through my email at cheragikonyo@gmail.com. Hello, welcome to today's lesson. Today we shall be looking at the second set book, which is Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. Now, the title A Doll's House has been used to depict a woman who has been enslaved in her own marriage. Nora, who is the central character in the book, has been engulfed in her husband's grip of treating her like a child rather than a wife. We see the play opening during the Christmas Eve when Nora enters with gifts for all her family members, including the maid, the children, the nun, and Helma himself. But when Tolvard Helma comes in, he is not pleased by the fact that Nora has spent so much money to buy the gifts. But Nora seems unshaken by what her husband is telling her. She says that very soon they'll be having loads and loads and loads of money because her husband Tolvard was to get a promotion to become a bank manager. Now, we see her husband referring to her, using petty names such as my little skylark, my little squirrel, petty names. He had seen Nora not as a wife, just like an object to be played with. You can control a doll in any way you would want to control it. That's the same way Tolvard was controlling Nora. Now, as the conversation goes on and on and on, the maid comes in. And she tells Nora that there are two guests who are at the door. One of them was Dr. Rank, the other one was Mrs. Lin. But Tolvard then goes back to his room, and then Dr. Rank goes to speak with Tolvard. And then this woman, Mrs. Lin, wants to speak to Nora. Nora doesn't seem to recognize Mrs. Lin at first. She has changed, but then after looking at her closely, she recognizes that this was an old friend of hers. They had not seen each other for a period of 9 years. And Nora is looking at her, and she's actually telling her that you have become thinner, you have changed too much. That she knows definitely that this woman, Mrs. Lin, had been a widowed woman. They had not seen each other for a period of 9 years. She had been married to a man whom she had not willingly married. She had married this man because she wanted to take care of her mother and her brothers, and because this man had offered to give her money. This man was a rich man, but now the husband had passed on. It had been 3 years. She had been widowed, and now she had been left alone because her mother had passed on and her brothers had gone away independent. So she had nobody to take care of. So she comes to this town to look for a job, and Nora seems to forget all these problems that Mrs. Lin had gone through. The fact that she was a widow, the fact that her husband had left her nothing. He had left her with no children, he had left her with no money, and she's there bragging about her lifestyle. As for me, I have 3 little children. My husband will be getting a promotion next year. She selflessly says all these things about herself, forgetting Mrs. Lin's problems. But Mrs. Lin is there, and she's looking at Nora's progress and success, and she's thinking of how she can use that success to her own advantage. In the fact that her husband was to get a promotion the following year to become a bank manager, she might secure a job out of that. And after she explains to Nora that, Nora offers to help her. After the two women have this conversation, that's when you see Dr. Rank and Helma coming in, and Nora introduces Mrs. Lin to Helma and explains her problem of looking for a job. And that was when Helma offers to give Mrs. Lin a position in the bank. And after that, you see Dr. Rank, Helma, and Mrs. Lin leaving. And then Nora starts playing with her kids. The door had been left partially opened, and we see Croxad coming in, and Nora was shocked to see him. How did you enter my house? and she tells Krogstad that my husband has just left. What do you want? And then Krogstad tells her that I am not here to talk to your husband. I am here to talk to you. And Nora tells him about, a debt. It is not yet the end of the month. Why are you here? I will give you your money. We see that there was a little bit of secret that was between Nora and Krogstad. And Krogstad tells Nora, I am not interested in the money. I am here over a job. I want you to convince your husband to help me secure my bank position again, because I hear that you'll be getting a promotion. And Nora is wondering, what is wrong with this man? Why are you here blackmailing me, telling me to tell my husband to help you secure your job? Remember, Krogstad had been working at the job earlier on, but he had ruined his reputation. He had done something wrong, and so he had been dismissed. Now he wanted to reclaim that position back for the sake of his son, because every door out there had been closing on him. So he uses this opportunity to come to Nora. How did he do this? Now Nora had taken a loan with Krogstad. Her husband had gotten ill some years back. The doctors had told her that because Tolvad had overworked himself, he was very ill and he needed quick medical attention. Nora went out of her way and took a loan. She asked Krogstad to help her get a loan so that she would be able to cater for her husband's medical bills. Because when she approached her husband to tell him that they would take a loan for his medication, but her husband had refused this, because in this society a woman was seen as just an object of staying in the house and doing home chores and everything, but a woman was not supposed to take up a role of a man. And in this case, the role of a man was to feed the family, financial needs of the family. But Nora went her way secretly and took a loan with Krogstad. But all these years, she had lied to her husband that money had been lended by her father, who had passed on some years back, before Helma would find out that the money had not come from him. And so now this man comes, and he is now using this to blackmail Nora to secure his position in the bank back. And not only has she taken a loan with Krogstad, she had committed a forgery. Krogstad explained to her. He tells her, you had taken a loan with me, first of all, and I know you have been lying to your husband that the money had come from your father. We both know that that is wrong, because you had gone behind your husband's back and you had taken up a man's role. So what do you think that would do to his reputation? Secondly, I noticed that where you signed, the date had stated that your father had signed it, but it was a lie, because the signature came later, as after your father had passed on, and that means that you yourself had forged his signature, so you had committed forgery. So for me not to tell your husband, because if I tell your husband about this, first of all, it will ruin his reputation in the bank, especially the fact that he was to get a promotion to be a bank manager. So what you're going to do is that you will approach your husband and you're going to tell him to give me a position in the bank. And now we see Nora confused, and she's wondering now, because if she tells her husband, she'll be in the verge of losing her marriage. And if she does not do that, Krogstad would go ahead and tell him himself. And so now we see a confused Nora. We see the maid now bringing in the children, but Nora doesn't want to play with the kids anymore. She's a bit disappointed, and now she starts working on keeping the secret away from her husband by trying to convince her husband to help Krogstad secure his position at the bank. Her husband comes in and he asks her, was that Krogstad that I've seen walking down street? And then she denies. And her husband tells her, Nora, do not lie to me. I know Krogstad was here to try and convince you, to convince me to help him keep his position. But I am not going to entertain such people. That man has committed forgery. We know that Nora had committed a forgery with Krogstad, and here Helma is cursing and cursing of how Krogstad has been committed forgery, but little does he know this forgery also involves his wife. So we see a case of dramatic irony. Remember, dramatic irony is when the audience knows what is happening, but the characters in the book do not know. Helma does not know what is happening between the two, Krogstad and Nora, but we, the readers, know. So that is an example of dramatic irony. And then after a conversation, Nora tries to convince him, please let him keep his position. Probably he has changed. And that was when we see Helma getting angry. He goes to his study room and writes a letter of dismissal to Krogstad. And Krogstad will be coming later and he will be telling the husband what she had done. And that was when we see after the letter had been sent to Krogstad, later on we see Krogstad coming, knocking at the door, and he tells Nora, I have received my letter of dismissal, meaning you had not talked to your husband about my situation, so I am going to tell him everything that you did. I am going to tell him that you took a loan with me. I am going to tell him that you committed forgery. You just wait and see. And he went outside and he dropped a letter in the letterbox. Now we see Nora in the verge of trying to keep her husband away from accessing the mailbox. And after he drops the letter, he leaves. And now the letter was lying there. This letter contained everything that Nora had committed. Forgery, borrowing money, everything had been written in that letter. So now we see Mrs. Lynn coming in, and there was this dance that they were dance. It was called the tarantella. It is a kind of a dance, that involves, flirting and, like slow dancing. And she was supposed to wear a certain gown, and Mrs. Lynn comes in, but her dress had been torn, and Ms. Nora offers to sew it for her. And when they're having that conversation was when now Nora tells Mrs. Lynn that my husband will be coming in and doesn't like seeing people sewing clothes, so just go to your room. And that was when we see now Helma coming in, and he wants to go and access the letterbox. But there was this practice that they had to do for the tarantella, and we see Nora asking the husband, would you help me to practice the tarantella dance? And we see Helma telling her, no, I have to go read my mails first. But Nora is there telling him, no, first teach me how to dance to the tarantella. And we see Helma offering to help her, practice, but then we see Nora dancing in an awkward way, just to keep his mind away from accessing the mail, because she knew that that letter was lying there. When Mrs. Lynn returns, Nora cries out to her, and she tells her that Krogstad had left a mail in the letterbox. And that was when Mrs. Lynn realizes that it was actually Krogstad who had lended her the money. And that was why she was so scared. And Mrs. Lynn offers to go and talk to Krogstad so that he can come back and take back his letter. And Nora was now working on, the time of Mrs. Lynn going to visit Krogstad and keeping her husband away from accessing the mailbox. So when Mrs. Lynn visits Krogstad's house, she doesn't find him. He had left, and so she left a note asking Krogstad to come and meet her at Nora's place. So during this Christmas day, we see that they are having a party upstairs, and that was when they were to dance the tarantella dance. And after they had finished, Nora comes downstairs, and she meets Mrs. Lynn and asks her, how did our plan go? Were you able to speak to Krogstad? That was when Mrs. Lynn explains to Nora that he had left, but she had left a note. And then we see while the couple was dancing the tarantella dance, that was when Krogstad comes to meet Mrs. Lynn at Nora's place. And we find out that the two had had a relationship in the past. Mrs. Lynn was dating Krogstad, but he had left her to go and marry that rich man that we had talked about earlier. And we see that Mrs. Lynn explains to Krogstad her situation, how life had been unfair to her. And she asked Krogstad whether they could rekindle their relationship. And Krogstad is overjoyed. And that was when he decides to take back the letter. But Mrs. Lynn tells him, do not take back the letter. The lies that have been lying in this family are way too much. It is time Torvald comes to find out the truth about what has been happening, and in that way we shall free her from this bondage that she is in. And that was when we see Krogstad leaving, and when Nora comes downstairs after the dance, she asks Mrs. Lynn, were you able to speak to Krogstad? How did it go? And that was when Mrs. Lynn told her, Nora, it is important that your husband reads the letter. Let him know the truth. We see Dr. Rank coming in, and Nora is there talking to him. And when she was about to ask Dr. Rank to help her save her marriage was when Dr. Rank opened his feelings towards her. He tells her that, Nora, I've always loved you. I can do anything for you. And that was when Nora got a bit uncomfortable because she had not expected this from Dr. Rank, and now she withholds what she wanted to tell Dr. Rank. And that was when Dr. Rank told her that later on he would be leaving 2 cards with black crosses to show that his end was near. We see that Dr. Rank had a terminal disease, and so we see Dr. Rank leaving. So when Dr. Rank leaves, we see Helma coming in and telling Nora, at last he's gone. They have this conversation, and Nora tells Helma that Dr. Rank is talking about his death, and Helma tells her that probably his death would be to their own advantage because they would be independent. Dr. Rank always seemed to come and visit them all the time. So we see a selfish Helma here. And so after a long conversation, Nora tells her husband, you need to go check your mailbox. She had actually accepted the fact that there's nothing much I can do. And so Helma goes to his study room. He goes to access the mailbox. And now we see Nora taking his coat and wrapping it around her shoulders. She wants to walk away. She wants to run away from her own house. She wants to commit suicide because she knows that as soon as Helma reads that letter that Krogstad had left in the mailbox, that would be the end of her life. And so when she was about to walk out, that was when Helma stormed into the room and asked her, what is this that I am reading? You have committed forgery. I cannot believe that you can keep me in the mercy of Krogstad. What do you think this is going to do to my reputation? You have been a hypocrite. You are not a good woman. In fact, you're not even fit enough to be the mother of my children. He tells her bad things, and that was when Nora's eyes open up. Oh my God, I have been unhappy in my own marriage. My husband has been a selfish one. He has always thought about himself. He has always treated me as a doll. And so we see Helma then tells her that we shall be pretending to be husband and wife so that people will think that we are in a good marriage, but you are not going to come anywhere near my children. You are no longer the person that I thought you were. Nora all this time had thought that after Torvald would read those letters, probably he would show a bit of sympathy and a bit of gratitude because the fact that his wife had gone out of her way to take a loan to save his life. But we see now Helma ungrateful, only worrying about his own reputation. Now after all that, that was when we see the maid coming in and telling Nora that, Madam, there is a letter for you. Helma grabs the letter, but Nora had been frozen all this time. She had not believed that this is the same man she had been living with all her life. He takes the letter, and when he opens it, it was Krogstad. He had sent another letter saying that he had forgiven Nora and that he would not be exposing her. He would be taking back everything, and that he was sorry for everything that he had put her through. And see Helma reading the letter, and he was like, oh my dear, we have been relieved all our miseries. I have forgiven you, Nora. Krogstad has taken back everything that he has said. He will not be exposing us. We can start all over again. But Nora was frozen, looking at this man, wondering, what are you telling me? She actually changes her nice outfit into the old ones. And we see her telling her husband, sit down, we need to talk. This is the first time in all those years we have been married that we are going to have a real conversation. All these years you have been treating me as a doll. I go out of my way, I take a loan for you, and You tell me all these things, these bad things. You not even have even an iota of mercy towards me. You have been treating me as a doll, just like my father. I have been enslaved in your own marriage, and today I have realized that I have been unhappy in my own marriage. Helma, I am leaving you. I am not going to stay in this marriage. And Helma is there telling her, oh, Nora, please, let's start all over again. I'm sorry for all the things that I have said. And Nora could not hear of it. She tells him, I will be leaving you, and I am not even going to take my children, because obviously whatever you have told me is that I cannot be a good mother to my own children. So let me go out there and be dependent on myself. And we see Helma begging her to stay. She tells him, I am not going to stay. And that was when we see her leaving the house. And she tells Torvald that I'll be sending Mrs. Lynn the next day to come pick up my belongings. And that was when we see her removing her wedding ring and divorcing her husband. And we see a broken marriage, a theme of divorce, and Helma is left all alone in the dark. Thank you for watching today's lesson. Be sure to catch my next lesson. We shall be having literature again, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you in my next lesson. Thank you so much, and God bless you.